Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pannonian Avars series, in which, as you can see on the screen in the three people in front of you, Tuzniq, who first began as a count or chieftain, and later became for the most of his life as a duke or high chieftain of Visegrad. And now he is Khan Tuzniq of the Khanate of Pannonia. Yes, the Avar Khanate has returned, has been restored. So Khan Tuzniq, Khanate of Pannonia. And as we all know, his wife Samur, and of course his son and heir, still in waiting, is Tima. So let's not waste any time here and get to the task at hand of ruling this great Khan. But as you can see, the realm is somewhat, as we originally described as being decentralized with many vassals. Well, that was earlier. Now we're just still uprooting the unwanted element from our Khanate, and that is some unruly vassals of a different culture. And I don't mean the Avars with the, I understand that, you hold too many, I hold too many nudges and all that, but we're trying to deal with that. Because soon, my son, who is the heir to the High Chiefdom of Smogy, lives down there. Well, we're trying to, get rid of them out of here. So we're dealing with internal matters before we get to the, the whole distributing lands to Avars. And also we plan on reintroducing the Avar culture in here, here, and here. But we'll do that later. Probably not under my reign, but likely under Tima, who is 29 years old, still in the prime of his life. And he's got many friends. He's friends of his sister, his brother, his other sister, who is now a Slavic pagan, but that's only because of living over in Bohemia. But hey, take what you can get. But for now, that's from during the eternal struggles. Here you see we developed Avars up to 10, and now we developed Visegrad up to 10. And so I thought, well, since they did your capital is over here, and quite honestly, I do like the strategic positioning. Yes, it's farmlands here, but the Danube makes it as a barrier here, and as well as you can cover the north from there. If we could build another palisades, same for here. And plus, look, farmlands surrounding it is all plains, not forests. Meaning, should the enemy threaten our capital or approaching on their way there, we will no doubt set the cavalry loose and take out all the enemies out in the open plain. It's perfect land to do it in. And sometimes we have to take it up to the hills of Estergon if the fighting gets desperate. So I think it would make sense to move the capital here, because again, natural defenses that surround us, and the plains to devastate the enemy, as we are a cavalry-oriented army and will remain so. Why not? Whilst we're developing it still, it's time to move the realm capital here. And plus, it says I do not have any available buildings for this slot for a duchy building. Even though I am its holder, but you have to be feudal in order to have access to these. And a special building is, in fact, is a holy site for one of the other foreign faiths. Oh, by the way, since it's in the 900s, it's supposed to be around this time where over there the Magyar Confederation, led by Arpad, which he has seen some better days. That it's usually around this time is when they are gonna invade Pannonia, but strength is similar. So if the time of invasion, if possibility, because again, I made the game setting of Hungarian migration to historical, which means they're supposed to invade Pannonia, who, regardless of whoever the owner is, either between 890 through 910. So there's 8 years, so there's a possibility, a great possibility, in fact, that the invasion of Pannonia may not happen. And I couldn't help but notice that we're bordered with some of these areas, including a pretty separated Moldova and Moldova. Perhaps one day we'll restore the old Avar Khanate as a whole. Yes, a Khanate rather than just a Khanate. But that would take an eternity and a half to do so. Because for now our main focus is to get rid of those Slovene vassals out of our land and replace them with Avar high chieftains, especially those who are close to my family. And also have to fight against East Francia to take Barania back. Yeah, but to take that back and we'll fight against them, which will be an easy fight, no doubt. But internal matters first. Yeah, that's another vassal of mine who will soon be kicked out. And also bear in mind that my health is poor as I am ailing because I am wounded and I'm sleep deprived. But hopefully I'll live a year and I'll start to get better. And as soon as my wounds are gone, I'll be good as new. Yes. Under concubine limit. Ha! Ah, changed my mind about ransoming. This is my woman now. Dirty bastard. So, let's just recover a little bit, and then we'll deal with this next internal squabble, particularly here. Now listen, I have a legitimate claim over here, so I suggest you get out. Oh, you will not decline, eh? Well then, you know what that means. And don't forget to get these lands under control. I'll head over there to bring this down, and whomever else rebels, we'll have them dealt with. No one else, huh? Do we have a seneschal? Yes, it's just for the faster control growth. which will take 7 years to get Estagon fully under our control. No longer wounded, but I am scarred, which adds more prestige and attracts an opinion. Yeah, builds character. Me being scarred like that. So we will keep developing until the land can't develop anymore. Ruckus in the cage. After the siege of Tribatona, 2 men specifically caught my eye, being captured as prisoners. Once they had finished frantically fighting some of my levies with pitchforks and a shovel. Glancing over them from a distance, I noticed the 2 of them grappling each other, supposedly fighting about an event that happened mid-siege, before my soldiers had entered the castle walls. After asking what's going on, one of the prison guards informed me that Spitinev and Letvoslav apparently used the chaos of the siege to steal some of his gold. On the other hand, he claims they actually stole his gold, not the other way around. Whilst normally I wouldn't care about a situation like this, the 2 are yelling and shouting into the night, keeping a lot of my men awake. Oh, good lord. Execute both of them. I ain't got no stress. But since I'm a man of diplomacy, I'll say, hey, let's just talk this out, alright? I'm a fair man. So there's a 69% chance I manage to calm them down, and those 2 will stop hating each other, which will cause that other possible outcome that I'll gain some prestige, or even diplomacy for that matter. Or it'll be a year's worth of headache. Let's talk it out. I managed to calm them down. I gained some prestige. Well, we did prisoner, but apparently, okay, let's make up this event. Okay, what happened was, I told those 2 prisoners to stop arguing. Tell them it's like, hey, let's talk this out, all right? Let's settle things like gentlemen. And this gave Chiefess Rodana the opportunity for her escape. And yes, she may have gotten out of there, but you're going back to prison. And then soon afterwards, your title is revoked, and you get the hell out of this country. Don't make me be your concubine now, but there ain't no room for that. Give me the money. Then you're good to get out. I have a gift for you, son. Tolna is now yours to hold. God. I suggest you marry somebody with high stewardship. I'll let you go marry this servant woman. Again, you're not going to be the one to be inheriting the throne of the Khanate. Even though we don't have no throne, we're not feudal, but you get what I mean. I just need you to have high stewardship so I can give you this land when we retake it back. Right. This is part of Rab. Chief Milan. So you were married to her, huh? You're one of my good champions, but... Whoa, really? Whoa, Nelly. That's some good stuff. And a raid speed. Damn, I'm jealous. As stated before, you're next. But give us a month. If fact, it's coming November. I have a claim to this area and you must leave, but he's terrified of me. Good. Because we don't want anybody getting hurt around here. Stewardship is good enough to hold one more land. You got it. Good, now get out of there. Wish I could take one of your artifacts, but Another land for you. And now, in addition, I will make you the High Chief of Smugi. And I will fight this war soon to get a piece of land, and I will give it to you, and you will have another vassal to serve under you. You actually made that Serbian woman wear your type of kind of clothing. How about that? Now, the High Chieftain of Györ, the line of succession is going to go to Kutrugu. I'll land you soon. Kutrugu. So, first off, I have a claim to this area, so I may want to step back. Yes, no, maybe. He agrees. Yeah. I have a claim, and you may not like me, but you are in trouble, young lady. Okay, anybody else that's willing to accept? Well then. For future reference. Kutrugu. There you are. This will be your land. And since you're a man of stewardship... Yeah. He was my marshal, you know. Chepa! There you are. Now you could try to get this land under control, but at least you'll do it a bit better than the previous. Now, it's likely she won't accept, so there will be war. Just as suspected. Wonder what the cultural acceptance is looking like, despite the fact that we're antagonizing these people a lot. No, it's still good, actually. After all, I am the speaker of their language. I'll be getting this soon, and this will definitely help me. So palisade is finished over. Oh yeah, down here. Despite the control issue. Who is heir to this land? Timur. Oh, he's gonna inherit it. Whoa there. We gotta find mace from her. I didn't even check your artifacts. I accept your surrender. And what's the difference between this mace and mine? This is my fine mace. And the other, this is new. Prowess +2. I'll probably gift it to someone I can trust. Well, since you are the High Chief and you're not much of a command, but you're a poor drunk, but if you can defend yourself. How about this one? Artifacts are rare and precious. Of course you would. Oh, by the way, give me some money before we let you go. Don't forget you should be doing that. About damn time. Just 2 more to go. Now, as we pass time to go hunting. Yeah. Not to mention I need the prestige for another reason. Who's next? Might accept. I don't trust that. Where am I going to be hunting? Oh, right here, locally. Just as my vassal Duke Arsalan of Demis, I crest the hills we hear, the snapping of twigs, the rustle of branches, birds screaming in fright, the heralds announcing his arrival, a mass of hearts heading straight for us. Its path ends here, with me. I slay the beast, hunting trophy, more prestige. You want the toy boat? Well, we did raid it after you. I ain't got no grandchildren. And if I decline, well, you say nothing. I'll say no to that, because what are you going to do about it? Whenever Timur has a child, I'll give that to the boy. Or girl. Still a novice hunter. It's almost like I don't hunt enough these days. I'll take command because I'm an egoist. Gout ridden. None of your matter to me. Gotcha. Hold the phone. Sees a fine spear. Yeah, that spear ain't fine. Good to good, this spear is for you. Take good care of it now. Oh, and I noticed you also have a daughter and heir. Pay up as well. All this dread that I've been gaining, I just noticed that. Now everybody fears me. Now get out of here. This is for you. One more to go. Surrender. What are you, bold? Just greedy, greedy. That's your issue. Last one. It's not like we're turning Pannonia into a homogeneous country. I mean, there's still a few remnants here about, such as what's going on down there. The tyranny war, but clearly you are winning this. Oh, that may be an issue in the long run. As stated. On our way. It's the last one. Yesterday's meal. I was having a pleasant, if vapid, chat with Sarah about various mundane matters. The conversation drifted to the topic of our favorite foods, and she asked me, "What was the last meal you ate yesterday?" "I had a delicious meal," I said with confidence. "It was wonderful." Wait now, what was it again? I stand there awkwardly for a few seconds, trying to remember exactly what I ate, what exactly I ate. In the end, I gave up. We talked about other things. For the rest of the day, though, it racked my brain trying to remember, but to no avail. It was only a day ago. My memory can't be that bad. How odd I forget what I ate yesterday so soon. Oh yeah, I forgot the abacus. I'll equip that. Oh, finally, a grandson. know what? Name it one of their, after an ancestor, I should say. After one of the great ancestors. Drong, yes. This was the line that diverted from the Khan. It was Drong who kept this area in Avarian heartland back then. So in honor of our ancestor, we should name him Drong. And it seems, thanks to, you know, this mixture of Avar, and now you inherited her blonde hair. It's rather unusual to see my grandson in a look like that. Also, I got a gift for you. Just for you. Beautiful toy boat. It says must be a child to equip his inventory, so knowing this is the future of our Tuzniq line. After I'm gone, then Tima, the son of Tima, will be the owner of this beautiful toy boat, which will add a little more prestige, and the children will respect it. And maybe one day they'll play with him. I can see that. Yeah, me being an old grandfather. Yeah, an old, ruthless grandfather. In which now everyone in this realm is intimidated by me, and nobody shall bring me down. Do you care about this? No? Well, okay. Now get out of here. All yours. Now you are the High Chief of Gil. Be proud. At least you're the man of stewardship, but if I were you, like if you want to be in the council one day, I mean, I already have a very good steward, which is Duke, Kutbot, yeah. But what am I sorely lacking? Nothing, actually. And we all know that my brother here, he's doing poor. And if I was to name a replacement, it'll likely be him. It's almost like I want my sons to be good administrators. So allow me to find you a spouse. At a reasonable age. Man, I feel jealous that she lives in this area. Despite that the whole faith is evil, but no, you're terrified. Whatever I say goes. And you will marry this very strong woman, and hopefully you'll have strong children yourself. Maybe one day. But I will still hold Bihar for a while, as there is no opinion drop for having too many duchies. Not anymore. All thanks to high tribal authority. And it's about time to go host a feast to celebrate our efforts. Do not forget the last piece of objective. After the feast, we'll go fight another war one more time. close family members, the sons and the vassals and all that. Welcome, friends. And I do encourage my children to get married because of the living members. Increases the renown. The wine's gone bad again? Well, time to crack open my secret stores. Alright. What started as an ordinary feast became an exceptional one thanks to the presence of Count Chepa. We spoke all evening about all manner of subjects, as things would have it, seemed a lot in common. I've had such a good time with him. What a good evening. Ah, son of a beast, my pumping the knuckles. With everyone headed for their respective homes, I'm proud to say that the feast was a success. Yes, proud. Now, it's another prestige. Which there'll still be plenty of prestige just to fight this little conquest war to retake that area back. Which it'll be here, obviously. Fortunately, those forces are inferior, so we could just simply take this area, and then we'll be occupying parts of Austria, and then there will no longer be a problem. Plus, it doesn't cost you much. Yeah, give me a second. Regarding the Savar, I don't think Savar's married. No, sir. Child of concubine, and he blew off some steam because he hasn't rested in vigor in a long time. Okay. Forget about stats. Because, you know, I'm not going to land you because you will be. Think about it once I'm gone. Marry somebody with an inheritable trait that is very good. As long as she's young, of course. I was about to say, is that a Persian woman who's dressed as a warrior? Whom do you serve under? Interesting. But she's only 35, so I don't think there is much time to get more children. The prettier they are, the more inheritable traits are. But one day you're going to be ruling this chiefdom, and if there's a skill that you're lacking or something, we'll think about it. Plus, there's already landed people out there. So, ooh, that's a problem. Zealous. That means you two are not going to have a good relationship. In fact, not a good relationship with any of these. They'll keep looking at you as evil. Whereas they view us, and we view each other hostile in this one. She's only 12, which means you're going to have to wait 4 years to get married, but I highly doubt you would want that. Crud, another zealous woman. And if you want children in a hurry, there's her. Well, best of luck to you. Let's see, we got about 5 months, and then we'll get the Praetorian Guard, which will give you some more prestige per night. So do the math of that. Because we have 11 champions so far. In fact, we could spend some money on that, because the one thing you did not build back home is the war camps. So it'll take you 5 years. Just to increase the numbers up. Yeah, it's going to be a long while before we get another one of these again. But now it's time for a war. The vastly inferior, so this will be an easy conquest. You two will split up. One will take care of this. I will head over here. Once you bring that trouble holding down, we'll see too if we can put a stop to it. And those Moravian forces are almost non-existent. Celestia wants independence. Brilliant. If you got any money, pay up, please. $100. Ah, you were the former. Greetings, Khan, Tuzniq of Pannonia. Your great appetites are renowned throughout the world. It seems that there's no recourse for a dispute other than settle on the battlefield. Reclaim relics from Moldavia. So he's got friends. The Varangian Guard, he ain't gonna bring that over here. It's not a landed title. It's just you have family relations, that's all. And whom else is your ally? Jorge? Galati. That's all Moldovan land. Oh, he's from way over there. What artifact do you want? Okay. I'm sure it's probably the abacus. I'm sure it's the language manual. Not my walking stick. What could you possibly want? What do I have to surrender? The sandals of Jesus. Of course. Those damned sandals. That's court artifact, dummy. I think it's because I hold a Christian artifact, and as a Tengrist, and they're gonna say it's like it's being held by an infidel. Fight for it back. Just when I was having a good day. But fortunately, Oye will not come to their aid. Just only him and that friend of his, way down there. You know, he's a vassal of the King of Bulgaria, which is up here. Well, we're quite a long way here, so I see the enemy. That's whom we're after. Now we're going to be fighting on two fronts. Well, crud. Oh, the Varangian card is coming, but his residence is over there. Are you sure they're on the march? And unfortunately, our Serbian friend is busy. Or one of our Serbian friends. Just on the defense. But then again, if you got issues, you got all the money, you could hire mercenaries. You could do that, you know. We'll be heading over there now. It's a ruckus to the cage between the two. Hey, let's try to talk it out here. I managed to calm him down, but I gave myself a headache for a year. We'll take care of him in 15 days. Well, we'll defeat the combined forces out here somewhere. As you are the second best commander out here. But you know what I feel? That I think it's about time that we bring an open terrain expert. May never know that this will be better than the current one, if we find a battle of our choosing. Sakan Sunta. Oh, way better. Not only an open terrain expert, but he's also an aggressive attacker. He'll inflict a bunch of enemy casualties. Good man. You are slightly better, but again, siege is not a priority. You need to go out and destroy the enemy. While I'll over here and take care of that piece of business. That's the king himself. If you capture him, good. That would spell an early end to the war. Try to get over there. But as long as we hold the objective, war score will keep going up. There's not much enemy opposition out here, so here's what we're gonna do. Send in your best men. They need assistance. Go to him. We'll take care of the sieges. They're sending 700. They'll be taken care of. Plus, it is a defensive battle, so therefore it's our terrain. So they're on the run. Yes. That is the High Chief himself. It's up to you. Because I'm not going to be there for those epic battles. Go save him. Defending a river crossing, defending a forest. No, no, no. There's no commander here. Had to come in and rescue this situation. Together now. I don't see no Varagians. Nope, he's not taking part of this war. Despite the fact that he honored it, but... it's all because of your son married to her. That's where he got it from. Good lord, what is going on in Bulgaria with this huge rebellion? What a crazy situation this is. Might as well take it to the High Chiefdom itself. I'll send in Chepa. He's a siege man. Even though we still do not have a, whatchamacall, a siege weaponry. I mean, I could spend some prestige on it, since I've been having a lot of prestige gain as of late. So I think we might as well introduce that here. But, you know, can't guarantee everything. But as we all know, that as far as I'm concerned, that the practicality over certain things. There, fix the door. That's what I was doing. I was stalling for time, saying some nonsensical stuff. Anyways, captured Chieftain, huh? I didn't see that part. That means he'll pay a lot. Yeah, you sure got him. And steward? What kind of steward is he? You sent him up there to die. Do you know what? Yes, let's introduce the siege weaponry. It doesn't cost much in full maintenance, but go ahead. All the way. That better be worth it. So, only because you are besieging these kind of territories, you're no longer fighting in tribal lands. At least as far as we're concerned. And I suppose you, Serby friend, where the hell are you? Hey, you're going to the wrong army. This is not what we agreed upon. Hey, look, there he is again. All of that money out of your pocket now. Come on in. Pay up. You know what? Might as well. Bring him over there. So we take another one of the borderline. Yeah. You have 20 of these now. So all you need to do is just bring these over here. Fortunately, this is tribal holding. Get over here! See how much the difference makes. 6 months? to 4 months. I like that. But it's not the full size. It's not the full complement. We have your daughter. So that means go defeat him in some battle now. Get the killer. I know it's a hilly country. Aha. Big. Battle going on up there. And siege on the other. The great duelist. My vassal, Duke, Arslan, has arrived at court with a bandaged arm and fear in his eyes. He tells me that my son and heir, Tima, has been challenging people to duels all over the realm here. Please forgive me, my lord, but this has to stop. Timurs turned up at my doorstep and challenged me. I had no choice but to accept. It's not the first time either, but the last in the long line of victims. Tima! Since when did you become so brave? I mean, he's always been, but didn't think he would go to that degree. I'll say, a dangerous pastime. You need an instructor. Do you want to serve in the army of Pannonia? You need to be a blade master. Trust me, we can teach you. I originally forbid you from joining it, but now I will reconsider. Allow him whenever the time is right. So it looks like you're not gonna get those sandals. You're gonna have to pay up, and we get a lot of prestige in return. Simple. An interesting siege. As the siege of Barony of Avar-Mogyër comes to an end, I sit and ponder the events that occurred as I commanded this siege strategic decisions. Were their defenses too weak? Were my men or weapons too strong? Either way, it certainly feels like something was off. My liege, a lot of our fortified holdings could still use some of the same technology, begins the marshal before noticing my look of concern. I look around the room and make myself clear. Until technological developments allow us to improve our forts more, we must... Let's see... Yeah, why not? Invest in better infrastructure. After having a phase of focused observation and research, the characters learn how to improve the quality of their own fortified holdings to prevent certain events which made their own sieging attempts too easy. Even if we ain't got no feudal holdings. Or just, say, yeah, just do that pray for protection like I did the last time. Let Tengri handle it. Grazie, Zanetta. You're the mayor. You got money. Don't forget the objective of the war. And you know, that puts us in raiding range of Croatia, which is feudal. They got plenty of cities and baronies, and sometimes there's a temple or two somewhere. Oh my god. Terrible news from the steppe. Traitors and spies bring word that Grand Prince Arpad, a Magyar warlord, is mustering the full strength of his realm to launch an all-conquering invasion of Pannonia. Even now, the Mogyër hordes are gathering, preparing to flood into the plain atop their demon steeds and upturn their entire local order. Surely they'll never cross the Carpathians. This is their chance. So, it's him. The strong man. The man with the mask. He may be incestuous, but he's a strategist, an organizer, unyielding defender. But, fortunately, his age has failed his combat prowess. He killed 2 men, you know. He only knows Magyar and he's Slavic, Russian. He's about to be gallant. As he says, "Greetings, Khan Tuzniq of Pannonia. Your wicked deeds have gone unpunished for far too long. That changes today, for I've come to deliver holy retribution upon you. I cannot lose, for this then is with me." He only has one little ally with him, but now he's bringing over 2,000 levies, 8 of his fighters, 100 light footmen, 100 bowmen, 100 pikemen, and 200 armored footmen, and additionally 10,000 special soldiers. This is going to be the struggle of the ages. I did ask for a prayer of protection, so we prayed to Tengri that our fortifications will hold against this large horde of Hungarian enemies. It's almost like they saw us out there from their range. Or perhaps, and this is me being facetious, what if that man was... No, he wouldn't be. He can't be the kind of, guy who would be sending messages in secret in his language as just to say, "Look at how great Pannonia is. Look how great this land has become." and I am very, very scared of Tuzniq, for he is a dreadful ruler. Can you please, our Paramovsi, save us, save me from all this? Hey! Oh, wait a minute. Back then I used to say Serbi, but no, that's not him anymore. I keep forgetting who's the ally of who. And I was only... Oh, God. Liberty War. None of you got daughters, do you? Gosh, she's stressed as heck. I don't think there's going to be anyone to save us this time. There might be a chance. Actually, no. Distance is one thing, but what about way over in Khazaria? What in God's... Huh. There's bound to be rebellions, one would think. We are in trouble. But then again, we do have the money for the mercenaries, so only if we see what they will look like and where their positions are, then we'll consider hiring mercenaries. I mean, sure, we can't, pay up the upkeep and all that, but still. This is for the struggle of our Khanate. And they wish to come down here. Ultima, this might be your time. But we gotta finish this war fast. So that's why tell them to come over here. Watch our back. In fact, watch your back. Do you know who you're up against? I'm just holding levies. Stop here. Stop right there. We'll see what it looks like out there, since they're going to be bringing 12,000 of them. Not only it's more levies, but there's more horse archers that goes along with that. 1,000 each. 4,000 horse archers in total. How do we beat them? But for now, just please focus on the siege at hand. You'll get it down. We're just gonna see their hordes thundering down this way. If they don't besiege the outer areas and come straight to the capital, well then, try to hold an epic defense then. Mercenaries? Well, he's got his hands full. So, who knows? But he's going away from us. As long as you hold the objective, you'll be fine. No sign of them yet. They're still on their way. Just get as much money out of them as you can so you can hire mercenaries in the long run. This would have taken the siege a bit longer. Because they're trying to build a hillside. Oh, no. I thought it was hillside forts. No, it's hillside fields. Oh God, here they come. Do we really even have the time? Because if they are underway instead of engaging the outer areas, then what? Will they besiege the outer fortifications first before getting to here? Yes, they are. And they're gonna hold on to that. Fortunately, they never brought any siege weaponry, so time might stall. So we're stalling for time here. This gives us enough time to destroy the East Frankian army before we can unite our forces and take on these guys. To take down last fortification, fall back and refill your levies. It's going to be a slow process for them, so this will buy us time. Get in here. Fight them down here. We got the king. 59, 32 plus 25 is 50. That's over 50. And 50 in battle. You don't have much money, so it's not worth it, so We're just gonna take it immediately. Son, this land is yours. Enjoy yourself. Assemble at Visegrad at once. Unfortunately, we are nearly alone on this issue. Because now they're spreading out. If we get ourselves caught in a battle, it will not do well for us, because they're twice of our size. Unless we bring in mercenaries now that you've accumulated all this money. Or better yet, and this is a calculated risk, increase the size. Give it your all. Because you have the prestige gain for this. Increase the size of our cavalry. Of our entire cavalry force. In addition. Merge and split. If there's anyone else that hasn't come, please join the army. That also means we can't build any more structures due to all that maintenance that we're trying to get it up to. We'll soon meet them in battle, but unfortunately this is the kind of terrain that is unsuitable to fight, so it's all forced territory. If we can get them to here, this area here, there might be a chance, and there's a river crossing stands between them. That's where we shall meet. Around here. Gotta thank the Bulgarians for creating that kind of defensive areas. There's only one area here that has mountains, which would be much more suitable for a defensive battle. This is farmlands. Of course we don't. But still, it's to be noted. And my health may be poor, but if I'm gonna go down, I would rather go down fighting. Split up. Stay here. Damn it. Get over here. And you stay. You got it? Okay, now that's step one. And as we mentioned before about how they of that similar size, but how do we even the odds? You bring mercenaries. Put them out here. Best way to counter these horse archers, which we never fought anyone that has horse archery. Light cavalry, heavy cavalry. Let's see. There are some that are just good at fighting forests. But archer cavalry, however. So each kind of archer cavalry is unique. They're generally are in turn countered by archers equipped with crossbows. That does not exist. In other words, you can't stop them. You can't stop them. But if at best we could try to take out some of their infantry. But unfortunately they got archers which will counter our skirmishers for that. But keep in mind of the size, especially the further down you go, and the expenses too, of how much you have to pay. So if I were you, this is a 3 years contract where you have to pay another, so I think you could at least afford 2 mercenary bands. Give me them. I mean, as we're bellicose, there's a lot more available mercenary companies. And I believe that this war may take about 3 years. So this is just going to be a matter of luck than anything else. Anything else? What counters skirmishers? Our cavalry, of course. Horse archers, yes. They do have armored footmen, heavy archers, so don't worry, you got that covered. But knowing that the battleground is Transylvania, where it's mainly hilly forests, what we need is archers or skirmishers, more of them, for the forest combat, and pikemen for the hills. Fortunately, there is a few pikemen we've already got, but we need additional. You guys, Ragian Guard. You'll do. So you two remain a separate force entirely. Even if your champions aren't all that good, but still, it's just additional cavalry, a lot more pikemen for the hills, archers, and some armored footmen, which has no terrain advantages, but it can take care of the spearmen. And if we get defeated, there's some screen, thanks to my organized march, should we be defeated in battle. And of course, by the time we get to the front line, this area will fall. You know what, I'll lead. We'll head to here. You lot, I don't know about the supplies, but we may have to split them up entirely to those 2 different, you know, mercenary companies, basically. And of course, you cover us. Zatmar is to be the battleground. Either Salatgi or Zatmar, this will have to be the battleground. Even though the advantage is also theirs. But if we can get them here, maybe there is a chance. But we fear it might not be enough, because luck will have to play the role in this one. Especially under my command. So we're ready to march. Again, once you arrive here on the hills of Krasna, you may have to split up. It's too bad we can't get them here on the back side of the mountains. Again, the land of Transylvania. Why does it have to be hills and forests everywhere? Of all the battlegrounds, Anyways, we're on the march. This is going to be my last time in the front line. Won't have as much money as I used to, but this is our last chance. And we hope that the war does not drag on for 3 years. All President accounted for. Okay. And of course, you checks with additional bowmen and skirmishers. Good. Everyone must play a role here. The Sarah will fall. The question is, will they attack us? We want them here. While we will be slowly increasing the size of our men-at-arms that we just decided to have more of. So this will stall for time. Because we'll slowly increase our size and it will not be just as even, but still. Where is the leader? There he is. Grand Prince Arpad. He's in this army. And again, what else does he have? He's got armor. And he's got a dagger. A gun. This is not his personally. It was claimed, and one thing, he took it after a battle. That's what he did. And he's in fine health. He's a... Yeah, you do have to split up here. Anything that belongs to the Avar band, split up. Champions, stay on the hills. Just get behind in the forest here. These are your people. This is just to deal with the supply issue. Hopefully it doesn't last long. We'll have to let this fortification fall. And we'll see where we can hit them next. They tend to go south. It's going to take a long time for them, but we cannot wait long. You have 3 years before those mercenaries will be gone, and we won't get much help. And we're waiting for the number of our horse archers to go up, so that we may have a chance. They're assembling, and they will try to take this area, as they will distribute these forces just to keep their supplies. Forest, river crossing. Blasted! You would have to take the long way around in order to engage them here. So that way we can take them out very quickly. Lest the all around. So, it's like we're playing the waiting game here. So I have a pretty bad mouth sore at the moment. While mouth sores do go away with time, they make eating an uncomfortable chore. How can I enjoy any food now when I have to be careful how I chew? I still want to eat the good food, so I'll just have to bear it. And if you win this war, you'll be a living legend. And if they were to take this area, then the farmlands would be next. But again, we need to find even ground. Do duelist returns. Timur has returned from his adventures a stronger man. While he lost a few duels and angered some more of my vassals, he also had his fair share of victories and gained a valuable experience. Now might be time to appease High Chief Kuchugu. Timur could have been general. Will you rest now, Timur? You aggravated your wound. Don't do that. Again, when we win this battle, we win the war. If we lose this battle, there's no way we can win the war. Oh! My brother committed suicide. Now my nephew, Avar-Mogyër, is now the ruler of this area. He was my good steward. Guess it's your turn now. Yeah. Again, got to fight in an area where we can win. Forest is not one of them. Gotta get them into the open. But the farmlands, we don't get an advantage, but at least it's enough where... but unfortunately, none of them have defensive buildings. And there is no time to build defensive buildings. Getting them up to the mountains would be advantageous for us. Please wait. Be patient. Learn to be patient. Our time will come. At least it's enough money where we can repay at least one mercenary contract. Yep, I knew it. They're going that way. Fair. Again, serious. Also forest. God dang it! Either the mountains or in the open plain where we can fight them off. Ideally here. This would be the ideal battleground. Oh, then now they assembled everybody over here. They want to get this down. And of course, if they keep it up like that, then that'll mess with their supplies. As it's winter right now, so that may have some supply issues along the way. It's the test of wills. And remember, you got 2 years until these mercenaries are gone, and then we'd be on our own. You need to win one decisive battle. What's that area? Mountains. Over here. Get ready to move. Because them taking a mountain fortress, there's defensive advantages. Unfortunately, it would not be good for our cavalry, but neither is their cavalry. Since they got a lot of horse archers, they do not do very well in mountains. Neither do we. But fortunately, we do have plenty of pikemen and armored footmen. So there's some degree to that. It's over 600 pikemen. They'll do well in the mountains. Including our strategical advantage. Splitting up. I think the Battle of Hunyad will be the area for an epic defense. All they have is simple stone quarries, no defenses or anything like that, but you do have enduring hardship because at least she returned to the faith. Well, even though actually she was forced to convert after she was defeated. Yes, demanding a conversion. So you were reduced to Hunyad. Or alternatively, let the area fall and then they will enter into the open fields where we will definitely have an advantage. I think we should wait out one more time. Just wait one more time. Unless the siege of theirs takes too long to their liking, and then we'll have to come down. But remember, attack any part of the army, then they'll all swarm on you. We still got plenty of supplies, but for those of you who are having issues, return to greener pastures, particularly over here, if you have supply issues. Again, all we need is one decisive battle. Sure, I'll have negative prestige, but damn it, it's gonna be worth it. Just we need to get them into the open. Sure, their cavalry will have the advantage of being open, but so do we. But we do have the means to bring down some of their cavalry and some of their infantry, and many of our levies, and we have a lot of champions with us. Just need to get them to the open. They can't go down to Wallachia, so the only choice is out there. And only there. Damn it, this is not what I want. Get over here. Assemble here. And then, there's no other way. I think they're coming for us. You need every advantage you can get, so going back to this. Can't do this anymore. They are coming. We promised them that we're gonna take it to them. Will they attack here? Or here? No, I got an idea. Switch over. Where the hell are they going? Bastards! Unless someone engaged them in a war. No? Are they going to Mamaros? Yes. Granddaughter. Alright. Hey. Tricked us. This will be the last fortification that they'll fall. Again, we dare them to come over here. You're not giving us... Crimea. It's little. You got 1 year until you kill those mercenaries. I'm sitting around the map table with Chieftain Taba and Chieftain Magotin discussing our strategy for the ongoing war. Taba eagerly points out all the prime targets we should immediately send raiding parties to pillage, while Magotin sits back and patiently advocates for us to secure critical locations and wait for the enemy to come to us instead. It is my right to decide our ultimate course of action. Oh, you two are champions. I would rather use the plan, improved defense. This character is thinking of ways to fortify their position, ensuring that they do not get overrun. We need every advantage we can get. It's what we need. Come on down. Far from home. A man is wearing a colorful loincloth before me. My name is Kiwi. I hail from a very distant country. I was accosted by bandits just outside a beautiful castle, and I'm scared to sleep outside. Would you be so kind to host me tonight? All the way from Burma. Wow. Well, come, you shall spend a night comfortably in the stables of some fresh hay. Or just tell them to get out, because all that money means a lot these days in terms of repaying the mercenaries. Get out! A blessed weapon of Tengri. My lord, a hurried servant approached me, accompanied by a solemn-looking character. Let me introduce you to our Skirmishers, a man of great sanctity renowned throughout your lands. He has come to court attracted by your fame as a pious and just ruler, and would like to extend divine protection to one of your treasures. Will you allow it? I need to get this repaired soon. So, I humbly accept your offer. This is a blessed artifact. It is commonly believed that the intercession of this holy prince granted this artifact divine prowess, faith, hostility advantage, and more defender advantage. It's almost like we're praying to Tengri for this. You are a wise man, though innocent, adventurer, and provident. Yes, accept your offer. Crimea has joined the war, but that makes little difference. Get down here! Come on! We gotta get to move on. Somewhere. Like, should we just draw them over here? Because we can't wait any longer. Watch your step. Don't get yourself caught in one of these baronies. The plains. Stop. 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 No, no. Over here. Over here. We said we want them in the open plains or in some defensive area. This is it. We had to get them out of our comfort zone. Tribal homing. There is no river crossing. Actually, there is. Crud. Take the long way round then. There is no river that separates it. If we get caught in the hills, well, the cavalry will not have the advantage, but some of us will have the advantage. So hang on. I'm not going to get them out on the plains like this, but having a bit of a supply issue, but the chances are even. Who's missing? Jump up. Hold your position for the love of God. Now, we are a bit undersupplied here, yes? Something tells me that if we attack them now, that now let me see of the armies. 5 days, 6 days, 6 days, 6 days. Okay, so I'll be leading the charge, but we'll be undersupplied a bit. Which again, this is going to be our first and only chance at this. Here's how it's going to go. We may be outnumbered, But, God, we may be outnumbered, but they got a lot of cavalry more than us. And, what else? By Tengri, what else? It's at a loss for words, because we never faced something like this in our lifetime. I may have reunited a realm, but I would hate the day that I'd be the one to lose it all. And this is the best mercenaries that we could buy. Now you train a commander, so that way the knight effectiveness, men-at-arms damage, and toughness will go up, as this is the day. The day has come. You develop that land enough. Start to collect taxes just to slow down the stem of the money. The monetary issue. So, this is it. If we win, it's highly likely we'll win the war. Because there's no way that they'll recover this fast. Unless luck will play the role. And if we lose this battle, we lose the whole Khanate. I have most advantage out of anyone. And I will be a frontline commander, will remain so. As this mace of mine has been blessed by Tengri. And this is what it says. This is what it says about my mace. According to the traditional story, this item has been blessed by a holy man or woman, or it was a holy man, thus receiving divine protection. The wise do not mess with the supernatural, whether they believe in it or not. I don't have time to repair or reforge it, because this mace has got a few more swings left in it. So now, it's time for the Battle of the Ages. A battle of a lifetime. For Avaria. Chances even, so anything could happen. But they have more men-at-arms counter. But bearing in mind that I may be a strategist, which will inflict more enemy fatal casualties in them, whereas for us we'll take less fatal casualties on our side. Our champions will play a role, in addition to all the other toughness of our cavalry, and how to counter their men-at-arms, as well as the role of a heavy infantry, spearman, and archer. Every single one of them is going to play a role. And remember, if we lose this battle, we lose this war, because there is no coming back to it. Even when we reassemble, there's no coming back to it. If we win this battle, the war will continue and we'll liberate our homeland and try to defeat them in a few more battles. And if we lose, I will sign a surrender. I mean, no doubt, based on that war score, it's just say, no, there's no way. So we must do this. We must do it. No way, no how. Let's do this. You all gonna join up? I'm sure all the sieges that they took down all that time away. Battles begin. I have no knights. These are all horse archers. Noticing a weak spot in our line, I move my personal guard to assist the men before a weak spot turns into a break point. As me and my men work to fight back the pressing enemies, I particularly notice a violent encounter happening a short distance to my right. Tuznia has got himself encircled by a few enemy forces footmen. He is desperately fighting against significant odds. Whilst I have faith in Tuznia's fighting ability, I don't think he'll last while being outnumbered. After all, I do plan on being a battlefield legend, so I will use my combat experience to decimate the attackers. So I will be a battlefield legend. The makings of a legend. Charging into a fray, I raise my blade and behead one of the larger foes with one fell swing. A few other attackers stopped, stunned, as I push Urzma aside and ready my blade for the others. A few of them step towards me. I instantly turn into action. One drops, their abdomen slashed open. Another stumbles towards me nervously before I smash the hilt of my sword into their skull, and then lunge my blade into their chest. One more charges at me, knocking me to the ground, but as they dive down with their warhammer to crush me, I roll aside and slash their arm off. The armless man screams in agony. Arriving on the floor as I stand myself back up, and throw a fearsome gaze at the other attackers who now stand terrified and look at each other in discomfort. Placing my foot on the armless, screaming soldier's chest, I hold him still whilst driving the head of my sword through his neck. As I drag my sword from his corpse, I twirl the weapon in my hand and step towards the watching enemies who scurry to fear. Khan Tuzniq, I owe you my life, says Urzma, stood next to the various other knights who were equally stunned by my performance. This will definitely be a moment that I will be remembered for. Men, with me, charge! Tuzniq is well known as martial for his prowess and competence as a respected warrior and marshal, and him the ability to constantly surpass the odds that heavily outweigh him. There'll be more men to join us during the war, more prowess, and respected for the general band, and have more advantage against the hated enemy. Yes, the casualties are terrible, but it's worth it. And none of them are willing to reinforce. I told you the patience would pay off. Swinging to and from my blade, I find myself increasingly confident in my skills as a warrior amidst the battle I'm fighting. Is this what being unstoppable feels like? Suddenly I'm brought back to it as I narrowly dodge a blow from an enemy soldier. The strike sent to me was originally destined from the side of my head, instead scratches on my face, leaving me stunned and bleeding. Not as unstoppable as I thought. The Khan is wounded. After retreating from immediate combat to assess my situation, I noticed the damage my body has received. Whilst it was not absolutely lethal, it certainly be something to concern about. Noticing my concern, my fighter, X-Gun, Race over and noticed there was enough training in the medical field to give me an emergency detection. Oh, I don't know about you. No, you're not qualified for this. They're in retreat. Kill them. Stop them. Effect. These forces will be dealing with that. The other ones, you guys, take care of them. We got him. We got him. That is Arpad's son and heir. Be careful what you do with him. He's a drunkard and a murderer too. Held a valuable hostage. Excellent. Perhaps we will save this country. Come on. Move on. Got them all. Now I'm a religious icon. At least I was able to restore my prestige back. You're the one with the siege weaponry, so go retake some of those areas back. No, god dang it. Oh, we'll distribute it soon. Just need to go forge the lands. What secret? Could care less about such things. You're too old for me and you're infirm. Leave me alone, all of you. This is a very, very tumultuous time for this. So, we have a son and heir. We lost a man. Timur. Whenever you are better from your wound, we need you to join the army. All of you. The Crimean forces. Open field. Okay, take this down and need to reassemble. Oh, she just died. Natural causes. She wanted to bed me, but now she'll never have that pleasure. And this one is Goutrin. Not as good. Let him be. Because this is not something you want to think about right now. Alright, come here. Assemble to here. We're gonna beat the bastards again. This is plains. Get him now. Don't let him get away. Months. We are winning. It's just you need to win more battles and we need to liberate some territories soon after. And we got 6 months, so let's make it count. Up to the hills we go. Is that a jester? Finding myself in combat against some of the weaker enemy levies. Find myself slashing through weaker, less trained forces of ease. Cutting down a few enemies every few minutes. Soldiers alongside me are equally fierce. Their unmatched skills give them easy kills. Eventually I find myself clashing with a slightly shorter, skinnier opponent, wrestling me frantically. I step aside and allow them to fall past me, stumble on the ground. As they stand themselves up, their helmet slips off, revealing the face of a boy no older than 16 years old. Left but not a single hair grown on their face, whilst they clutch their blade bravely. I know this fight's unfair, but do I seduce without killing or do I cut him down like the rest? He's a 12-year-old. It's just... for once, he's got a sword! We have to show no mercy against the invaders. We had to do what we had to do. Okay, first things first. Take this area. The rest of us head up here. Oh God, what happened? You had him. Where did he go? You idiot! I'm an idiot. Guide to my dungeon. Should be in the house arrest. Should be looking that up. Three months. Two months. I think we could get one more battle out of it before these mercenaries are ready to go. Go out. Because clearly we have the advantage now. Come on, move up. We have much time. Chances are even. We'll probably win. Hold on, a lot of things. Household guard. More champions. Yeah, let's bring in more champions for the last. Even if it's the less skilled ones. Today, my personal cook has prepared another meal by boiling, remembering the decisive Roman maxim. The lazy cook prepares everything by boiling. So I might as well decide to ask my cook why he is so lazy, trying to look intimidating as possible. I approach the cook and tell him, some might care, but personally I think it's fine you being lazy. Just lose a little stress. God, they're bringing everything but the kitchen sink. Stood strong in the face of the enemy. My soldiers have fought valiantly so far in the battle of Borsa, but the slowly growing tired as their foes push harder and harder in the rage against their demise. After a prolonged period of combat and a strong enemy counterpush, my men are stumbling around, exhausted and dire need of motivation. Seeing the opportunity to deliver some inspiration, I step up and give the warriors a stirring speech to reinvigorate them and restore their drive to continue battling a difficult foe. Once I step up, I begin to ponder what I might say. A few of my soldiers stop fighting to watch me in admiration. Oh God. Take heed of these words, my brave soldiers. After a summary of a common ground between me and my men, some motivational words about integrity and family. I start to notice a few of my soldiers nodding in agreement as the enemy slowly approaches. Finishing off a war cry that is echoed by my warriors, I yelled a charge at the enemy. With my fighters sprinting alongside, it seems my speech worked. So respect around here. Again, if you want to ensure the victory, liberate these territories. We're starting to have a bit of supply issue here, and now these mercenaries are gone. But if you can repay at least one, have a look. I'd rather extend it, and I'll let this one expire. Thank you for your service. So now. Well, we're kind of quite separated. We'll be getting supplies. Oh, you two stand guard here. And you get this back. So they've been dismissed. And we had to extend the contract of at least just one, or we could just sustain the income. Oh, and another thing. Where's Chepa? Is Chepa still around? There, Chepa. You're the siege man. This is your thing. You stand guard. If the enemy engages, we'll be there. I'll be away for a while. Unless you can get it down fast enough where I'll switch over. %. Stand here. Stand guard. You'll be getting more supplies along the way, so come on over. Once you get over, I'll switch positions. In one of the larger towns of Avars, several important members of the community were meeting inside a building when it collapsed, killing many of them and gravely injuring most of the survivors. Oh my god. Donate help with funeral costs for their surviving dependents. At least I'll know to be generous till the end of my life. Alright. Withdraw. Over. Meet up with the ragging guards. Come over here. I need everybody together. He's been assassinated. That was my steward again with the stewards. They're pretty much a shadow of their former selves. Let's get them. Actually, move up here because I need to be here. Actually, go! Touch him. Let him get away. As soon as the battle began, how can a heart endure this kind of pain without breaking? It is not possible. Yet here I am, my heart beating whilst my ears has gone quiet. Oh, Samur, my petal, life will not be the same without you. At least the memories remain. Overwhelmed by stress. Life has never been easy, but it feels like the loss of my wife has pushed me over the edge. She was a partner in my life, helping me to get through so many trials and tribulations. Though we may have disagreements, facing life without her just feels daunting. How will I ever manage without her? I'd rather be melancholic rather than a drunkard. Is a life without her even worth living? Don't want to be known as a drunkard at the end of my life. Just really, really sad about it. That's all. But we still have a full battle to win. Across the battlefield, I see Cornell atop his horse. I've always learned to try to get a position the enemy to better understand how they think and how to prepare their attacks. But Cornell, I can't imagine anything being past disgusted by his religious views. Taoism is sure plainly a false religion. I stopped to think, should I keep trying to learn his image of the battle and use that against him? Or shut off any invasive religious thoughts? Maybe Mayor Cornell sees this battle differently. My efforts succeed. '91. There's not much of them now. So I suggest we take it to their territory. Over here. Yeah, you may be running out of supply, but I'll be going over here. Lend me some of your, lend me some of them, alright? I'm talking about those siege weapons. Lend me those. 1 second. Bring them with me, so I can take it to their land. Okay. Go. And a Varangian guard with me. Cover me. You stay back and get yourself resupplied. Even though there's hardly anywhere for you to get supplies other than back there. You did your job. Listen, this is me, but I don't feel as always I'd like myself. I'm wounded, melancholic. At least he's gonna have a lifestyle trait soon. So, yes, we did fend off the Hungarian invasion. They'll never come to Pannonia again. Might as well. And with that, after 5 years, they'll pay some money to me. They will lose a lot of their prestige, while we will gain a lot. So we will enforce those demands, and we'll disband, and everybody will go home. Well, actually, be careful with that. Let's just end this episode right now. We don't need to go any further. So, we saved Pannonia. That was what that episode was on. We saved Pannonia from the Hungarians, the Mogyers, the Magyars. They will never return here again. Even he has his own personal issues, as I. Well, one thing's for certain in the next episode. Khan Tuzniq might be going away soon. He will soon be going to the ancestors. He will go feast with his ancestors. And then Timur will begin his reign by keeping the country together before we expand our reach to all other areas. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a struggle. But until then, so long for now.